that it was just like, what makes a culture in a sense? Is it like the people that are left behind, or is it like, you know, historical landmarks in a sense?
It's a combination.
Like, yeah, I'd say it is a combination. Cause like, say if like, I'm like, I would say me and V are like from a time in between. Like, we got older siblings who are like from the early 2000s, 90s, who grew up around that version of hip hop, versus us, we're growing up in the area of hip hop where it's mostly like people that are younger than us. They got a whole different style of music that's popping right now.
Yeah.
And it's just like, if we had like kids and stuff like that, we want to tell them about how we grew up and stuff like that. But that genre of music, I wouldn't say genre, but that type of like style is kind of like already gone. They grew up in with a whole different type of style.
Right.
Yeah, so it's just like, we were wondering like what do you feel like makes like a certain like culture and stuff like that, like in a spot? Because like how you been to North Carolina, they got that culture of just like, okay, you know, we go out, we do this, and you know, we party like this. But like in Orlando, it's just like, I feel like it's clicked off in a sense, to where everybody got their own like groove going on.
Right.
Do you feel that way?
It is, but our culture in Orlando is just like,
yeah, that's a hard question.
We like, let me touch on what you said, man, as a whole, and bring it all together. You got Generation X, Generation Y, Generation Z. Me and my brother, we had a Generation Y. Y'all younger than us, so y'all Generation Z. When you bridge the gap in it, right? The culture is when you bridge the gap. That's what creates the culture, the generations. Because now it's making sure information is passed fluently without it being any gaps in between. That creates a culture, because now you got to think, it's going generation to generation now. So what generation, what is it, 20 years, 10, what generation, how long is the generation? Like 10, 20 years?
15, 20 years.
Okay.
Like 15, 20.
Like 15, 20?
Yeah.
So boom, so you got to think, that's 30 to 40 years of knowledge once that's circulated, that makes that culture now. It's like saying, okay, Zora Nurse not from Iamdjmfrell. How? That's where she's from. So as people get older, God forbid, but if they was to wipe it out or get bought out and switch and change their demographics or gentrify, that history there. So that when that history get passed on, the knowledge get passed, the information get passed on, that helps keep the culture intact, because it's gonna go from generation to generation.
True.
I believe culture is based upon bridging the gaps with the generations to make it more firm, because you know Rome wasn't built overnight. So as long as you keep the information passing down, then you gonna keep the culture. The culture, once it was created, from whenever they first started to on down. That's why I try to make sure. Like, I know Head had asked me about my top 20 Orlando artists. I have more than 20, man. I got all these generations of people I like. I like. Shout out to Head, but I got a whole. Matter of fact, I kid you not, I got it. I'm gonna bring it in. It's in the car. I remember I was in the car earlier. I was writing this shit down. I like put right down 20. He said, "You got more than 20, don't you?" Yeah, I do. I probably like at 27, 28. I still could have kept going. I just stopped. I'm like, whoa.
Alright.